Time once again for the papers. Joining us, Marianne O'Hotter and, of course, Edward Addy. Lovely to see you both, guys. Marianne, we're coming to you first this time. And this is a fascinating story, the constitutional crisis that Pakistan has been experiencing.
Yeah, that's right. You think things are bad in the UK, they're worse in Pakistan currently. So inflation is sitting at 13%, foreign debt is 43% of GDP, and Imran Khan, former international cricketer and, up until about 10 o'clock last night, Prime Minister, has finally been ousted from power following a no-confidence vote in the Parliament. This is following absolutely weeks of chaos, basically, caused by him and his allies, trying to prevent this vote from happening. So last week, he basically convinced the Deputy Speaker to not accept the motion for this vote to go ahead, then immediately dissolved Parliament and called for elections, which is kind of in breach of all the kind of protocols within Pakistan law. And so it went to the Supreme Court and they said, no, that's absolute nonsense. So then Parliament was recalled and the vote went ahead, and he lost by 174 votes of no confidence. They needed 172. So the likely incoming leader, which will be sorted out in the next few days, will be a guy called Shehbaz Sharif. Now, the only thing about this is that he is the younger brother of the person who Imran Khan succeeded from. So it is in a very small political network of actual individuals and families. And the question is, will they be able to do any better? That's the big question, because of course, you know, we're feeling the strain here, and people are really suffering here in the UK. And that story is actually replicated all around the world, in places where the welfare system is even less developed than our own. So spare a thought for global instability and the consequences of that.
Edward, take us inside The Observer. I don't know if you're going to be lucky enough to be getting away for an Easter break this year. The one thing I can guarantee with yeah, you wish. But the one thing I can guarantee with certainty, given what's over your shoulders, is that if you are going away, you'll be taking the bus, presumably.
Possibly a rail replacement bus. Not just the trains, the airlines, and things have opened up now to the point where it's kind of a normal schedule for the airlines and for some of the railways. But due to absences with COVID and staff possibly on leave or doing other things, airlines, EasyJet, BA, they've cancelled up to 100 flights a day. Also the situation with the ports in Dover, where there's a tailback of 23 miles. I spoke to Lisa Minnow from The Sun earlier on the radio during the week about this, and she said when it comes to the airlines and possibly with the ports as well, I mean, this could go on for not just Easter, but I mean, it could escalate for months, in particular with the airlines. Now, the opposition, the shadow transport secretary has called for the government to do more, and it clearly more needs to be done, because it's frustrating. I think Liverpool fans who are set to watch a game, there's no Avanti West Coast. I think up to 100 coaches or 100 buses have been laid off. I mean, strategically, this should have been planned in order to get people away quickly and sort of robustly this weekend, but it's not. It hasn't gone according to plan.
It certainly has not. Marianne, and I have to say, this is staggering. John Bird, founder of The Big Issue, warning of the biggest increase in homelessness, not in years, not in decades, but in centuries.
Yeah. So I think this is a story that's going to dominate the headlines, and certainly should over the next few weeks and months, as the cost of living really, these price rises and the national insurance hike that came in at the start of this month really starts to bite. So Lord Bird, who's the founder of The Big Issue, has said that this increase in homelessness is going to be the sharpest rise since what he thinks is the Industrial Revolution. It is really that bad. 1 in 17 private renting households have been served an eviction notice already. 45%, so that's almost half of private renters, are worried about becoming homeless. Not even just worried about paying the bill or worried about whether they should or shouldn't be going on holiday, with reference to Edward's previous story. That is something that is basically a luxury for many people at the moment. And fundamentally, this is because the sums don't add up. And I think, you know, we come full circle to Rishi Sunak's popularity. Partly it's about this non-dom green card tax, blah, blah, blah. But I think a lot of it is because of the spring statement that came out, and people said, well, where is the support for people who are genuinely struggling?
He was explicit, wasn't he? I mean, he was explicit. He had to target, in his mind, he had to target somewhere, and he chose to target, you know, the assistance for people in work.
Well, that's the thing we have to remember, is that is a political choice.
Indeed.
Austerity is a political choice. And Lord Bird says very explicitly in this piece for The Express, he said, I'm going to quote, "We need to borrow in order to help people come out of this. Otherwise, we will ruin the education and life chances of millions of children and families."
Yeah.
And fundamentally, that is it. I mean, we have an economy, we have a chancellor to help balance those costs and those budgets.
He's got an awful lot. He's got an awful lot to do. I'm sorry to interrupt a minute. I just want to squeeze in this last story because we trailed it last hour. And Edward, this is your last story, in fact, about the Grand National. And if we show the picture, you'll see the winning horse, but you'll also see the one on the left is the one that I backed coming in second.
So you didn't back the winner?
No, no, never have, never will.
We're not going to talk about that. So this is a great story.
You get 30 seconds.
Sam Whaley-Cohen, 50-1 odds. He didn't think he would ever do this. 20 years. He runs a dentistry and he's an amateur jocker, and he won the Grand National yesterday in Aintree. I didn't place a bet. I mean, with 50-1 odds, I mean, I could have bought several houses. So I'm gutted that I didn't do it. But
all I'll say is, if I bet on the winner yesterday at 50-1, I wouldn't have been here talking to you guys this morning. But it was lovely to see you.
You can't quit. Listen, Sky News wouldn't be the same without you. Come on.
I am about to quit because I've got to go because we're running out of time. Mary-Ann, Edward, I'll see you again.
Take care.
We'll be back after the break with more from Ukraine.